We stayed at Sol Duc Campground in Olympic National Park. Our picnic table space was to the right of our camper, and it was pretty tight on the other side. The whole RV camping site was in a parking lot. We did have water hookups and electricity, no sewer. Dogs are not allowed on any of the trails, but they can walk around the campground. There is dry camping in Loop A and Loop B. The sites are nice and wooded, but the roads are very narrow, so it doesn't give the kids a great place to play. Going around both loops is a total of about a half mile. The campground loops have bathrooms but no showers, and they're about a quarter mile away from the RV sites. Down a short path from the RV parking lot is the Hot Springs Resort. The resort consists of a number of cabins and a lodge. The lodge is very small, and the locker rooms are very undersized for the hot springs. The campgrounds don't have any showers, so people would like to shower at the lodge, but they don't have doors and they're made only for a quick rinse, and it's very full. The lodge also had a small gift shop with the popular banana slug Stuffy, and it also had a small restaurant. We visited the hot springs at 4 in the afternoon, and it was very busy. The hottest pool in the background was so full you couldn't get in. This pool started to empty out as I took the video. The first resort was built in 1912, but unfortunately burned in 1916. It seemed much more accommodating to the number of guests visiting the park. We stopped by the Salmon Cascade Overlook a couple of times, hoping to see the coho salmon jumping. They're supposed to run in September and October, but we didn't see any. The Sol Duc River is also a spawning site for steelhead and cutthroat trout, as well as Chinook and sockeye salmon. After visiting the Cascades, we walked the Ancient Groves Trail, a 0.6-mile loop through old-growth forest, and partway along the Sol Duc River. In the afternoon, we went to hike the Sol Duc Falls Trail. It was a very busy trail, with many other trails leading off of it. It was an easy out and back trail, 0.8 miles each way. The next day we drove down to Crescent Lake and stopped in at the Crescent Lake Lodge for lunch. The lodge is right on the lake and has beautiful views. They rent kayaks, they have a nice dock, and a beach for swimming. We're having lunch on the porch in the background. After lunch, we drove to the other side of the lake to hike the Spruce Railroad Trail, a trail that Ivy was allowed on. It had this neat tunnel. We walked the trail for about 2 miles and then turned around and headed back. We were sure to follow directions and not soil the view with number 2, but saw that others were not as conscientious. We're not talking about dogs. In hindsight, this is one stop we probably would have planned differently. We started off down here at Alder Lake Park. We drove up here and into Sol Duc Campground. We weren't too impressed with the hot springs, and we were camped in the middle of a parking lot. So although the old-growth forest was beautiful, we probably could have camped down here in this area and seen it just as well. Another thing we did was we backtracked out. We drove out the way we went in, where possibly we could have circled around and ended up at the Hoh Rainforest, or just had a different ride down. We're getting an early start. It's rainy, we have a long drive, and we've seen pretty much everything here. So that's it for this post. See you next time.